And that means turning to food, often to assuage and self-medicate negative feelings.
Self-soothe.
Yes, self-soothe.
So this is like our comfort foods.
And it works because when you have all that cake and cookies, it's never the carrot, it's the carrot cake.
Welcome. This is the Dr. Crockett Show. I'm your host, Susan Crockett, MD. I am a board-certified OBGYN practicing in San Antonio, Texas. And I am so excited today to be joined by my special guests. This is a very, very special interview. This is my brand new friend, exceptional, beautiful, brilliant, bohemian friend, Deborah Kesten. We're going to be talking about her new book today. And we are joined by her husband, Larry Scherwitz, PhD on the right, and Reed Miloy, MD, on my left. Welcome to the show. I wanted to start off the show, you guys, with just kind of everybody introducing themselves and kind of talking about how y'all met, because you've known each other a long time. I'm the newbie at this party, and I'm so honored to have you here. So, Deborah, how about if you start off telling us a little bit about you?
My pleasure. My name is Deborah Kesten. I'm a nutrition researcher and award-winning author, and I do research on how food influences health, especially preventing and reversing heart disease.
Wait, say that again. What?
Whoa.
So reversing heart disease?
Yes, I do research on how food and diet can prevent and reverse heart disease and obesity.
This is amazing. And that's the topic of your new book that we're going to be talking about a little bit. I can't wait to share this with our viewers. And who's this lovely man next to you?
This is my husband, Dr. Larry Scherwitz. He is a behavioral scientist and specializes in research on mind-body medicine and also how lifestyle influences health in terms of preventing health problems and reversing it.
That is really cool. Larry, tell us a little bit about your research and your background.
My name is Larry Scherwitz. I'm a behavioral scientist. Started out with a PhD in social psychology and met a physician named Dean Ornish, and we worked together for 20 years to see how lifestyle can halt and even reverse coronary heart disease. And later, it's been shown to help reverse prostate cancer. And so I'm very pleased to be here. My role here with Deborah is to design studies and do data analysis and report on the data. And so I'm the backup guy with her writing and research.
What a wonderful partnership you guys have. And you and Reed have known each other for, I'm sorry, Dr. Miloy, you've known each other for quite a while.
Reed is fine.
Yeah.
You is fine.
Hey, you want to tell us a little bit about you and how you guys got...
Thank you, Sue. I'm Reed Miloy, board-certified physician, internal medicine, wellness coach, and
my wellness coach.
And your wellness coach, absolutely. And friends with Dr. Scherwitz and his lovely wife for 20 years now. We met at the American Heart Association National Conference. I believe it was around 2001. And Larry was interested in meeting me because he knew I was into integrative medicine. And I was interested in meeting Larry because I knew about his work with Dean Ornish. So that just immediately created a friendship and a collaboration, yeah.
Just for our viewers that may not understand what this is, can you explain a little bit about what integrative medicine is?
Yeah, well, I mean, medicine for many years, particularly in the West, was practiced as a very traditional allopathic sort of a strategy. And here in the last 20, 25 years, we started looking at alternative therapies and integrating those with established allopathic medicine. And it's just like nature. When you cross-breed genetics and you kind of mix it up, you get a better, shall we say, result. And the thing that's been missing has been the high-quality research in regards to alternative therapies. But over the last couple of decades, we continue to see more and more of the high-quality, good data roll out. And what was, when I came out of residency, was hearsay is now become mainstream. So we're making significant, because of people like this. Absolutely.
Amazing research.
Yes.
Yeah. So cool. So Deborah, I wanted you to give us a little bit of background, please, on how you got started in all this. How did this get done? How did this come to be?
Well, I used to write for magazines, and I decided I wanted to do an article on yoga and diet.
Okay.
Because my husband, Dr. Larry Scherwitz, was invited to present at the first International Conference on Lifestyle and Health in New Delhi, India.
Wow.
And one of the presenters was a cardiologist named Dr. K.L. Chopra, who's the father and mentor of well-known thought leader, spiritualist Deepak Chopra.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Wouldn't.
So now, just full of surprises catching you on camera.
My first question to him was open-ended. Dr. Chopra, please tell me about yoga and diet. And his response was the Bhagavad Gita, which is Hindu scripture, espouses cooking with love. And we, meaning devout Hindus, believe when you make food and prepare food, your prana, your consciousness with which you prepare the food is infused into the food. And when you ingest the food, you ingest the consciousness with which the food was prepared.
Isn't that amazing?
The thought, yes, and the thought wouldn't let go. And I thought if Hinduism, a 4,000 or 5,000-year-old religion, espouses this, surely other world religions have led with this also. And I went on a nutrition journey around the world researching ancient food wisdom, which are the resources we turn to for thousands of years before nutritional science 100 years ago.
That is so cool. So you look cross-culturally around the world at like Judaism and Buddhism.
World religions, correct. I looked at world religions, major world religions, cultural traditions such as the yogic diet, which is thousands of years old, called Ana Yoga.
Okay.
And I looked at Eastern healing systems.
Yes.
Such as Ayurvedic medicine from India, traditional Chinese medicine, and Tibetan medicine, and put all of that together after months and months and months of studying all these huge, bodies of wisdom about food.
Yes, a lot.
And Larry and I distilled the ancient food wisdom into 7 perennial principles validated by nutritional science.
This is the big deal. Is the big validation,
yes,
by science. So are you talking about
that's what this is.
This book? Okay.
Yes.
So let me do an Oprah moment. All right. So the book is called Whole Person Integrative Eating. You have a website too.
I have a website, integrativeeating.com.
Okay. This is a breakthrough dietary lifestyle to treat the root causes of overeating, overweight, and obesity, something which you and I are very familiar with in our patient populations. So it's a very fascinating book. I wanted to talk a little bit about your research and what you describe in the book, because Reed and I, as physicians, we went back to our education. We're taught about carbs and fats and proteins and macronutrients, and carbs in, carbs out, you'll lose weight. That's our traditional teaching.
Which isn't much, to be frankly honest. And there's absolutely nothing about the individual, the culture behind how we eat, and what are healthiest eating practice. But to overcome something and transcend something, you must understand it. And that's what this book does for so many people. It helps them to understand these 7 common, shall we say, root causes of malfeasance, right, with what we put into our body.
Yeah, so much of my past history in dealing with nutrition has been what to eat. I've gone from all kinds of low carb, whatever diets, to now eating clean, meaning no processed or less processed foods. And getting away from the fast food and the preservatives and all of that. But this is a totally different idea. This is an idea more about validating the social part and the emotional part of what's going on. And then you've got also data on how to heal those things, which
that's what the Whole Person Integrative Eating program is.
So I'm going to read a little bit from your book because
Very kind. Thank you.
I'd like for viewers to know what the 7 things are. And as they're listening to this, I want them to just, in their minds, think about which ones they may be dealing with.
I call these the new normal overeating styles. You will see yourself in one or more.
Yeah, I saw myself in one over.
But,
So meet the members of the overeating styles family. Number 1, we're all familiar with, I think, which is emotional eating, right? I'm going to go through them and then we're going to talk a little bit about them. So emotional eating, food fretting, which is worrying about what to eat, which is
over obsessing about the best way to eat. Yes.
fast foodism, which is our fast food culture. Sensory disregard, that's one I'm really guilty of, is just eating on the fly and not having any regard for what I'm putting in my mouth, just getting it in, right?
You got it.
Task snacking. I like how you've come up with some of these phrases. The unappetizing atmosphere, which surprised me, and then solo dining. So I found the last two really the most surprising because I never really think that the atmosphere around our eating might influence it. But I wanted to just start a conversation around the table with the four of us about the 7 different styles, starting with the emotional overeating. Tell me a little bit about your research with that and how you validated that. It seems intuitive to all of us, but I think some of the strength of your work in this book is the science behind it. So.
Great question. We did an online course on the Whole Person Integrative Eating program. And we also developed a 74-item questionnaire about what to eat, how to eat, where, with whom, and what your eating behaviors are, right, along with what to eat.
Is that the one that's in the book, the quiz?
A quiz, yeah, in the book. I call it What's Your Overeating Style.
Here it is.
Yes.
So I thought this was really funny because as I was going through it, at the bottom of here's what they look like, each of the quizzes. At the bottom of the one that is for the sensory disregards style, it says total sensory disregard and then score. And I thought, yes, I have total sensory. I have total sensory disregard. And I went and ding, 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 ding. Oh, that was funny. Okay. So if you get a copy of the book, you can go to page 36 and you can find out what your own style is. I love taking quizzes. Pretty fun. So our listeners can do that and they can absolutely interact with you in this book like that way.
Correct.
Okay. And then let's go through each of the styles and just kind of tell us a little bit in more detail than what I did when I went through the 7 styles about what you found in each.
Again, the new normal overeating styles will be familiar to everybody. One is emotional eating. Stress eating often is the phrase for it also. And that means turning to food often to assuage and self-medicate negative feelings.
Self-soothe.
Yes, self-soothe.
So this is like our comfort foods.
And it works. Because when you have all that cake and cookies, it's never the carrot, it's the carrot cake, right?
Yes.
It works. It releases serotonin, which calms, relaxes, and soothes.
Yeah.
The second overeating style, and all 7 are statistically significant.
This is big.
It's not just cute name.
Yeah,
and all real
data behind them.
Behind overeating and increasing your risk of overeating. The second major overeating style is one of the 6 of 7 eating behaviors.
Okay.
And the first one is task snacking.
Okay.
Eating while you're doing other things.
Like driving or...
Well, driving at your computer, walking down the street when we used to go to shopping malls before COVID, walking and shopping, window shopping while you're snacking on a muffin. Filling up at the gas tank.
Huh.
Yes.
So why do you think this contributes to overeating?
Why do I think? I think it's mindless. I think we have learned in the last 100 years since nutritional science, we know it today, has evolved, we've learned to, this will be familiar for you. We were told 100 years ago, I think it was by a chemist, Wilbur Olin Atwater, he told us food is fuel, the body is a machine.
Okay.
And we have learned to relate to food as something to count.
Right.
And I'll tell you, when I would give presentations, I would often ask the audience, how many of you are familiar with the guideline to not have 30% of calories from fat? And they would raise their hand.
Right.
And I said, how many of you have a clue if you're doing that? It's not how we eat.
Right.
But it's what we've learned. And we've learned to just snack all day and eat all day and feel good with that serotonin hit. And it's not working. Dr. Phil always says, well, how's it working for you? And all the dieting and obsessing about food and what? Continuing our relationship to food and doing it alone, right? It's on our shoulders.
So that was one of the 7 too, is the solo dining.
Dining, yes. Most of us are going home with our diet book and being, again, the moral judgment onto food is something else we've learned, right? I was good today, I was bad today. I always go, what is that? If you have some decadent, delicious chocolate cake, it's called sinful. I think it's just delicious. It's not sinful, but we've learned to project moral judgment on ourselves based on what we're eating and on the food itself.
And so as we start doing these 7 bad habits that are normal,
yeah,
we see ourselves having less awareness of what we're eating. And so that whole Hindu prana idea is completely
but yes, it's completely lost in the consciousness, most of us.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't the concept, this is not stuff I'm making up, isn't the concept of cooked with love, made with love, still in the culture?
It is.
It is. Grandma, cooked with love. Yes?
Yeah.
So this has traveled, everything I'm talking about, the antidotes to all these overeating styles, such as cooking with love, right? It's still in the culture, and I verified each of the antidotes, which is the Whole Person Integrative Eating program, right? I've verified and validated each of the overeating styles with a solution based on science.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
That's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole lot of work.
I love, this is the field of nutritional anthropology.
Oh, I've never heard that.
That's the science behind nutritional of the Whole Person Integrative Eating, looking at the food and eating world of different cultures.
Wow, that is just astonishing.
We have thousands of cultures globally. We're losing them rapidly. But each of those cultures have come up with their own ways of answering the question of what does it mean to be a human and to have to nourish yourself. They've all got their own strategies for that. And the wisdom in those cultures are incredibly powerful interventions for our patients and ourselves. And this book helps us to explore some of those. Yeah.
This is so cool. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. This is such a special day, such a special weekend for me. I'm just honored that we could have this kind of conversation and have a way to bring it to our viewers and our listeners. I wanted to remind our listeners about your website and your book. So the book is called Whole Person Integrative Eating, and your website?
Website is integrativeeating.com. Please visit the website. You can find out more about the book, but also the whole program. And we have certified specialists, health specialists, who are trained in whole person integrative eating. So if you want support, you can, 1, find out about your own personal overeating styles, and 2, find a specialist who could help you train, who has been trained in this.
Well, thank you so much, Deborah Kesten. This has been awesome. Thanks for being here.
My utter pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, Larry. Thank you. Dr. Miloy.